Shalom, shalom, shalom. Lala Tov to everyone out there. Welcome once again to Shabbat Night Talk. My name is Uzi Alewi. I'm one of the teachers at Congregation Bait D.C.B. And once again, we're here bringing you another Shabbat Night Talk. It's a blessing to be here. Thanking the Most High God. I haven't been with you guys for, I believe, a couple of weeks, so excuse me for that. But we're here once again, giving glory to this great King, and always trying to bring the words of the Creator, even in these times, even in captivity. We give glory to this great King. Hallelujah. Hoping and praying that everyone out there is having a great time, having a great Shabbat. Everybody had a great holy season. Definitely was. Shalom, shalom, CHOKMAH. Good to see you, sis. Well, hope that everyone is having a good holy season out there, or had a great holy season, as this was the our 7th month, and our 7th month, we know that brings in the most holy days. Shabbat shalom, Ima, Huhana, Pua, Yisrael. Shabbat shalom to everybody else that's in the building. Thank you the Most High God for all of your lives. Thank you, Yehovah, for food, clothing, and shelter. Thanking the Most High God for my life, the life of my family, the life of Kobe, Yisrael, scattered in the four corners of the earth. And I pray that the Most High God continue to be with all the people in Florida, Houston, Texas, all of the places where were affected by the hurricanes, Puerto Rico, Barbuda, all the Virgin Islands and all the islands where our people are located. Pray that the Most High God be with them, continue to protect them and guide them and keep them, and bring them hope even in a time where things just seem to be so hopeless. So once again, glad to be back again with y'all on live. It's been a second, it's been a while, a couple of weeks. Sometimes I have to take a little hiatus and take a little time off because I have to recharge the batteries, but I'm back here trying to get things going back again. How's everybody feeling out there? Hope everybody is great. Hope everybody is doing good in their lives. Hope that everyone is up in spirit. You know, if you're feeling great, if you're coming off the holy season and you're feeling great, let me get some thumbs up. Let me get some hearts. Let me get something. And let me know how you're feeling. Great to be here once again. In spite of all the things that have happened in the past few weeks, we know what happened in Vegas. I know we didn't get to discuss that, but you know, it's all, like we always say, it's all the will of the Creator. The Creator always causes his will to be done, and sometimes we can't question it, we can't understand it. But the thing about it is that we know that it happens, and all we could do is bless his name. A lot of people died, and it was unfortunate. But we, even in negative things, we find strength, and we move on and we carry on, because that's all we could do. You know, there's a lot of things that could be said about that, but at the end of the day, we have people that lost their lives, and that's basically, you know, that's it. You know, people lost their lives, and you can't say much about what happened there, but you know, all glories to the Most High. So that's why I'm gonna leave that. I haven't been on for a couple of weeks, so I'm gonna leave it there and talking about that. Also, I hope that everyone made a true repentance for Yom Kippur. I hope that everyone was really in tune and really thinking about the things that you confess before the Creator, and that you don't go back to those same things again. It's very important to, if we came into Yom Kippur and we asked for forgiveness for our iniquities, and this is the way Yom Kippur works. You know, it's not like the Catholic Church where you go into a confession booth and the priest is on the other side and you confess your sins to a man. Yom Kippur is basically you're coming before God. He gives us an opportunity to come before Him and confess our sins before Him. So hopefully everyone sincerely confessed their sins before the Creator and was able to be forgiven. It's important. You know, it's important to be forgiven, but it's also important to come sincere from the heart and to be able to come before this great King and be sincere in all our thoughts and in all the things that we come before Him, because it makes no sense to be, you know, repentant during Yom Kippur, and then when Yom Kippur is gone, then we do whatever we want to do. So the importance of Yom Kippur is for us to sustain that level of repentance and to continue and not to continue to commit those sins anymore. So now we move into a time where, you know, after Yom Kippur, we move into a time where the Most High God blesses us with our last harvest. Many of us dwelt in booths. Some of you probably are not as fortunate as to get to dwell in a booth every day. That's okay. Just keep your obedience to the Most High God and pray that in some time you'll be able to dwell in booths, or you'll be able to have access to a booth. You know, so don't feel like you committed the worst sin. We are commanded to build booths, but sometimes people, they might not be in a position to build a booth, or they can't build a booth in the place that they live in, and they don't have an access to a booth. So just ask the Creator to be understanding, to forgive you, and then, you know, we move on from there. But don't beat yourself up if you can't get to a booth on a daily basis during the 7 days of Sukkot. So I thank the Most High God for that. Tomorrow we are restarting the reading of the Torah. So for those of you that are new, for those of you who are just new to this, what we do is we begin the reading of the Torah from the book of Genesis. Tomorrow we open it up and we go through a whole 12-month period and reading the first 5 books. We break it down. They're broken down into sections. So we start the beginning tomorrow. So if you know anyone that's interested in joining us and in wanting to follow the reading of the Torah from A to Z, as they say, well, this is the perfect time. Tomorrow at we're going to try to start a little bit earlier tomorrow. We're supposed to be having some guests coming over, so we're going to try to start a little bit earlier tomorrow in order to accommodate those guests that are coming over, and so that we could get through the lesson in the Torah, which is so important. So if you want any friend to know about it, or to begin to pick up the Torah and get the understanding of the Torah, tomorrow we will be starting from the beginning. Tomorrow we will be starting from the beginning. So definitely it's a great time for someone who's a beginner to come on and join us. All right, so that's for everyone out there. Shabbat Shalom to everyone that's stepping in the room on Facebook Live and also on YouTube Hangout, Google Hangout. Thank you for joining us once again. Thank you for taking your time out and to listen to what's being brought forth on, you know, in these live streams, because you didn't have to stop here and listen to me or to any of the other teachers that bring forth this message from these both channels, but you do give us the air, so we appreciate it and we thank you for that. And all glory is to the Creator. So I thank the Creator for my life, for everything that He's done for me, for the ones that I love. So we continue to do the job, to bring forth the wisdom and the understanding. And you know, people, sometimes you don't even feel, sometimes, you know, I feel like just resting like the last couple of weeks. But then I always remember the people that need this. You know, you don't know how many people you reach out to or you touch, and they depend on a show like this. So this is what makes me come back. So it is, you know, it is what it is. So I do have to make this announcement. Let me see, the 4th of November and what's that? The 11th. Those two Shabbat, I will be out of the country, so it depends on how the internet reception is how, whether or not I will be bringing you the Shabbat night talk. All right. So if where I'm at we have good internet reception, then we're on. If not, then hopefully I'll have my son play some video or something, load up some videos and load them up so they'll be able to be played. So just giving you the heads up, but there should be good enough internet for me to be able to do a live stream. So hopefully that could work out. You try to contact us in which way? On email? Which way did you try to contact us? On email? Sivan Ruach, did you try to contact us on email? Which way did you try to contact us? So everybody, we thank everyone for being here with us and for joining us. So I had this question, you know, I was reading, we're gonna get right into it. I was reading some stuff. If you ever had an encounter with a European Jew, right? And they see you with your tzitzis, and they see you with how you carry yourself as an Israelite and what you do, because a lot of them, the way they were taught, they don't think that we are the children of Israel. A lot of them know that we are, and they will tell you, I've seen that, you know. All right, somebody asked a question. What's the difference between CE and AD? Many Christians think year of BC is before Christ, but BCE is before Common Era. Yeah, so basically CE and AD, AD and let me see, BC and AD are Christian terms, basically from the Roman Catholic Church, if I'm not mistaken. So BC stands for before Christ, meaning before the death of Christ, and AD stands for after the death of Christ. That's coming straight from a Christian perspective, and I believe is the Roman Catholic Church, right? And that's the way that they numbered years. So now we have Common Era, which is CE, which is for people of non-Christian, you know, origins or non-Christian faith, and BCE before Common Era, to know the times and the seasons. I believe that it was during the Roman Empire that the time begin to be counted coming up in numbers rather than, before that time where numbers were being counted down. Now, I'm not really too schooled on that, how they came up with that, or if people in ancient times even counted time in that way. But I do believe that when the Romans came in, they began to document time and periods and days. So I could be wrong, but if my memory doesn't fail me, I believe that that's how it went. So y'all could do research on that and correct me if I'm wrong. But like I said, I'm not an expert on that. So that's that. Yeah, so have you ever had any encounters with European with the Jewish man, and they see you with zitziot and certain things like that? What now, like I said, some of them do acknowledge that we are the children of Israel, but some of them, or most of them, believe that we're Gentiles. And in us being Gentiles, let's see if any of you out there know the answer. Let me open up the chat in the next room. Let me see if any of you out there know the answer. Give me 1 second. I just want to see if any one of you out there know. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to open up the chat in the other in Google Hangout. So when I ask this question, I can see exactly what's going on. Create a studio. Hope that everyone had a beautiful Shabbat meal. Hope that everyone was satisfied with it, that some good food was being cooked out there, that everybody enjoyed, that you have a belly full. All the good stuff that come with a good Shabbat meal. That you belch good, you burp good, and now you're working on your dessert while you're listening to me. All right. All right, Oval Cash TV. I don't know who you are, but this is not an advertisement place. Shalom, shalom, everyone. So now, a couple of people here that I've never seen before, but it is what it is. That comes with the territory. So, all right, when you encounter the European Jew, a lot of times they Yemima, I see you on YouTube today, but we on Facebook Live. So a lot of times, when we encounter the European, we and they see you with your culture, or they see you with your zitzio and your kippah and stuff like that. At first they try to kind of ignore what you are, but they see you, they know what you are, they see you, but they try to they do things like many of them, because they believe that we're Gentiles, they do things like, oh, what do you follow? The 7 Noahic laws. And that's just basically a shot trying to tell you that you're not Israel. You are a Gentile, because the 7 Noahic laws are supposed to be laws that are reserved for everybody else, right? For everyone else. So what they're saying is that you are not an Israelite. Basically, you're not. Um, let me see. You're not a child of the covenant, basically. So they ask you, do you keep the 7 Noahic laws? Because the 7 Noahic laws are supposed to be laws that are for the common world. So, and if you keep these 7 Noahic laws, you are a good Gentile, right? But you're not required to keep all, as we say, 613 laws, statutes, and commandments. But if you keep the 7 Noahic laws, you're a good Gentile. And in the time to come, in the era to come, where there's going to be prosperity for Israel, that you will find yourself in a good space, keeping the 7 Noahic laws. Now, this concept is to separate them basically from everyone else. And that's not what God says. That's not the laws of God. God doesn't tell a stranger to only keep 7 laws. There's nowhere is it written in Torah that a stranger has to keep 7 laws, right? I believe that that's something that comes from the Talmud, if I'm not mistaken, something that certain rabbis pushed. And as it went along, certain rabbis added more to it. Some rabbis said there's 100 laws that the Gentiles have to keep. Some other ones said 30. Some other ones said 45. So it varied as it went along. So I just don't want to, was not sure. But I just don't want to give something and not give the full spectrum of it. So let me read something real quick about these 7 Noahic laws. It says here, this is from Jewish Encyclopedia. Laws which were supposed by the rabbis to have been binding upon mankind at large, even before the revelation at Sinai, and which are still binding upon non-Jews, So saying that these 7 Noahic laws was given before the law was given to Moses on Mount Sinai. And these 7 Noahic laws are binding upon non-Jews. So, when they say non-Jews, they mean non-Israelites. So the terms that we're listening to, remember, we're reading from a Jewish encyclopedia. The term Noachian indicates the universality of these ordinances, since the whole human race was supposed to be descended from 3 sons of Noah, who alone survived the flood. Although only those laws which are found in the earlier chapters of the Pentateuch, which is the Torah, right, before the record of the revelation at Sinai, it would seem, be binding upon all mankind. Yet the rabbis discarded some, and by hermeneutic rules, or in accordance with some tradition, then it gives you reference, see Judah, Halevi, Kuzari, right? These are different rabbis. It says, introduce others which are not found there, basing their views on passages in Genesis chapter 16. They declare that the following 6 commandments were enjoined upon Adam. 1, not to worship idols. 2, not to blaspheme the name of God. 3, to establish courts of justice. 4, not to kill. 5, not to commit adultery. And 6, not to rob. It says here, a 7th commandment was added after the flood, not to eat flesh that had been cut from a living animal. Thus the Talmud frequently speaks of the 7 laws of the sons of Noah, which were regarded as obligatory upon all mankind, in contradistinction to those that were binding upon Israelites only. So now they're saying basically that these laws were binding to all humankind, even during the time of Noah, where all mankind comes from. But once we got to Sinai, the laws that were given to Moses, those laws were only binding to the children of Israel. Okay, Ima, no problem. I understand. And I know that further south and further west, it gets darker later. So that's understood. Hallelujah. Blessed be. I'm glad to have you here with us. So this is what they say, right? That supposedly us, but we know we're the children of Israel, but the way some of them throw it on us, they make it seem as if we are Gentiles, so we're strangers, right? We're not the children of Israel. Let me read you something else. I just read you that. I hope that made perfect sense, what I read, and you understood what was being said there. So let me read you from something else. That was from Jewish Encyclopedia. This is what Wiki has to say. The 7 laws of Noah, also referred to as the Noahide laws or the Noahide laws, from English transliteration of the Hebrew pronunciation of Noach, are a set of imperatives which, according to the Talmud, were given by God as a binding set of laws for the children of Noah, that is, all of humanity. So Torah doesn't tell us that. Torah doesn't tell us that there were 7 laws for all humanity, right? But the Talmud says it enumerates it, right? There were in those times there were common laws and universal laws that people follow. There were more than just 7 Noahic laws. You understand what I'm saying? So what they did is, the Talmud, it encapsulated it and said, all humankind or all mankind had to follow these laws, right? But the children of Israel had to follow the 613 that Moses brought down, or that God gave Moses to give to the children of Israel. But we're going to get into reference of different things later to show how the stranger also has to keep the Torah, right? We're going to get into different precepts, and we're going to go back and forth to show that this concept of a stranger only keeping 7 laws of Noah is a concept that was made up by Jewish rabbis, and it was not a concept that came from Israel, and I'm going to prove that. So according to any non-Jew who adheres to these laws because they were given by Moses, is regarded as a righteous Gentile and is assured of a place in the world to come. Olam haba, the final reward of the righteous. So accordingly, any non-Jew who adheres to these laws, meaning the 7 Noahic laws, because they were given by Moses, is regarded as a righteous Gentile and is assured of a place in the world. So if you keep those 7 laws, you are guaranteed a good place in the world to come, as far as being under the Jews. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's joining us. So let me get back to this, see what the people saying over here. So it says here, the 7 Noahide laws are traditionally enumerated are the following: not to worship idols, not to curse God, to establish courts of justice, not to commit murder, not to commit adultery or sexual immorality, not to steal, not to eat flesh torn from a living animal. According to the Talmud, not Torah, the rabbis agree that the 7 laws were given to the sons of Noah. However, they disagree on precisely which laws were given to Adam and Eve. 6 of the 7 laws are exegetically derived from passages in Genesis, with the 7th being the establishing of courts. So there you go. This is where they get this Noahic laws for the stranger or the Gentile or whatever, the non-Jew, as they would say. Right? But let us go to the book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 34, and see what God says about this. Leviticus 19:34. We're going to start out there. And it reads, the stranger that sojourneth with you shall be unto you as the homeborn among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your God. So God commands us that the stranger that's in the midst of us shall be as a homeborn, meaning that if a stranger is to be treated as a homeborn, that means that you have to treat him with the same rights that a homeborn has. For example, when Uriah the Hittite was living amongst us, right? And David did what he did. Did David commit adultery with Bathsheba? Absolutely, he did. Uriah was living securely amongst Israel, right? He was living securely amongst us as Israelites. So all the laws that applied to any other common Israelite applied to Uriah the Hittite. And you could not wrong Uriah the Hittite in the same way you could not wrong another Israelite that was born in Israel, that was from a father that was an Israelite. So these are things that we have to keep in mind. You know, you have to, it says, and thou shalt love him as thyself. You shall love the stranger as you love yourself. So now today is where we fall a lot into the question of a Caucasian person who understands that they're not the children of Israel and they come and worship with us. Or they come to find out about the Creator and they want to come and join and have time to worship with us, right? It's one thing to remember what's been done to us, but if someone comes to worship God, are you to turn them away? Are you to turn them away? So these are the things that we have to keep in mind, because the Most High says that you must, it says right here, and I'm reading it. Let me read it again. It says, the stranger that sojourneth with you shall be unto you as the homeborn among you, meaning that he has to do the laws, the statutes, and commandments. He can't live among you and not do that. It said, thou shalt love him as thyself. You should love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. We know what it is to be a stranger. So those are things that we have to keep in mind. It says here, Exodus chapter 12:48. We're going to go to Exodus 12:48. This is the ordinance of the Passover and what we should do when we partaking of the Passover. So now the Most High says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with you, meaning he sojourns with you, he lives with you, he likes what you're doing, this is what he wants to do, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, but no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So it said, if the stranger sojourns with you, let him be circumcised. It says, let him be circumcised. Now, the 7 Noahic laws don't speak about circumcision. But if a stranger comes amongst us, we must treat him as a homeborn. And if now he wants to observe the Passover season and he wants to partake of the Passover, he must be circumcised. And it also commands any servant or anything that you buy by money or whatever, that they also need to be circumcised. So how is it that a so-called Gentile or a Gentile, in their eyes, only has to do 7 laws, when the Most High God is clearly telling us that there are other laws that have to be kept, and what we have to do in the treatment of a person that is a stranger in the midst of us? You know, this is not to bash, but this is to just bring understanding of Torah and between what the Most High God says and what some rabbis say. You understand what I'm saying? Everything, you know, I'm not saying that everything that you might read is bad from these books, but you have to understand what's good and what's bad and what's God's laws and what a man added to something. You understand? Because you can get a wisdom out of anything. You know what I mean? You got people that, I know some people that read a book called the book The Path of the Just, something like that. Read prayers from there and do certain things, and they don't see them bad, but you know, these are books that are written by those people. You know, to keep it absolutely real with you, I mean, when we do the prayers for Yom Kippur, we get it from the prayer book. The sins we have committed before the Avinu Malkeinu. So that's what I'm saying. Everything that you read from the books, everything is not bad, but there are certain things that you're going to read that go contrary to Torah. And this is why you have to be so solid in Torah to know when you're being, you know, moved away from what you're supposed to be doing. All right? So these are things that we just have to keep in mind, and that I hope that all of you would just keep in your minds and understand. So hopefully y'all still with me, that I'm not boring y'all and I'm bringing understanding to you and knowing exactly what's going on. That's why we must study. That's why, Ima, it's essential that we study and not depend on a person to teach us what to do. Yeah, I know that, unless you accept the authority. But you see, that's the funny thing. They have no authority over us. And this is one of the things that you see, that's the funny thing. When we what did I want to say? I lost my thought. Rabbi Matthew, this is one of the reasons why he didn't convert. Come to find out, Rabbi Matthew, because they wanted him to convert, Rabbi Matthew said, why am I converting to something that I am already? That this is what I am already, so I don't need to convert. Because in a lot of the traditions, got a fly in here flying around. I don't know how it got in here, but in a lot of their traditions, in some of the sets of these people, even if you're circumcised, they want to come and prick your penis again to draw blood, to do like a second circumcision. Like, where in Torah is that written? It just said be circumcised. You know, so these are all the things that you know, that they follow, and some, you know, that comes from their halakhic traditions, from their Talmud and things of that nature. And those are things that we have to keep in mind. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's laughing, but that's what they do. this is the stuff that they do. You know, some sets of them, not all of them. You know, just like some sets of them, when they circumcise the baby, they put their lips to the baby's private area to suck out the blood. This is some stuff that they made up as they went along, and there've been some instances where some of the rabbis, the Moel, who do the Brit, right, that they pass on herpes to the baby, and the babies die. So these are all the different things that are done. So these noatic laws that they say that the stranger is only supposed to do is actually contrary to the Torah of Yah. You know, it says right here, Exodus 12:49, it reads, we're going to go to that. It says, one law shall be for him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So if a stranger sojourn among you, there should be one law for him, and for him and for you. You understand what I'm saying? You know what, I'm the type that say, read, but first be strong in your foundation, which is Torah. But read. I mean, you can, you know, for many years we got stuck on certain levels, and we spoke about things without having understanding of them. Our teachers just told us this is what it was, and their teachers told them this is what it was. But they never read those things to really understand what it was that you were coming down on. You know, and the funny thing is, you know, the more reading that I do, the funny thing is that when you, and I lost my thought again, because I keep reading these comments and it throws me off. When you begin to read, when we begin to read, and you see certain things, that's why I spoke about traditions. You see, because traditions are not bad if they're not contrary to Torah. Even if the Jewish man has a tradition and it's not contrary to Torah, I'm not going to say everything they do is bad. You know what I mean? Because it's asinine to say every tradition that you build is wrong. Only when it's contrary to Torah is it wrong. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to understand me with this. When it's something that's totally opposite to Torah, or you're adding to Torah, then traditions become a little bit iffy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, or with tokenism with certain things, you know, I have a problem with that. I'm not speaking for everybody else, but I have a problem with that. So when the funny thing about traditions and things like that, you see where certain things were formulated from, because, you know, some of our teachers left Judaism. I mean, that's the reality. I mean, some of them left Judaism, but they didn't throw how they said, they didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, whatever you call it. So certain things they adopted, but they gave it their own twist. But you see where it comes from. And the only way you could notice that is by reading and understanding where they got it from. That's why I said every tradition is not bad. Everything wasn't off. You know what I'm saying? The Israelite culture, the Israelite culture is strong, but some of it came from certain things that our teachers took. They changed it around. You know what I'm saying? They put their own little twist to it, but it has a genesis. And I don't think that everything, me personally, I don't think that everything that's in those books was invented by Europeans. I think that our forefathers invented some of that stuff too. That doesn't mean that it's right. You know what I mean? Like, everything is right, but I just feel like we giving them too much credit. Yes, they wrote a great deal of it, but I don't think that it all came from just them. You know what I'm saying? I think that after our forefathers left Babylon, we came up with some stuff. We adopted certain things. But that's my belief. That's how I feel, you know, and that's how I look at it. This is from people who call themselves Jews. There is no J in Hebrew, which means they are Hughes, lambs, who is the Christian. Will be a D.C.B. on Shabbat. Hallelujah. Let me see. So I hope I'm making myself clear, and I'm bringing clear understanding on this matter. But, you know, personally, I've had, you know, Jews tell us that we know that you are the children of Israel. I mean, I've seen, I've been there with brothers. We've witnessed this. I mean, I've seen no one has ever, no one has to tell me that. You know what I mean? But I've seen it. You know what I mean? With their own eyes, they acknowledge that we know you're the children of Israel. Straight up. So now let me see here. Let's go to another precept. So I read that last one. Let me see. I read that last one. It says, one Lord shall be to him that is homeborn, unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So it should be one Lord. So when the stranger come among you and he wants to worship like you, the only thing the stranger cannot do is be a king and a ruler over you. That's the only thing. But you read in the law where if a stranger marries a priest's daughter, that means that there are going to be people in the midst of us that live according to us and marry our daughters. You might not like it, but it happened. You know, if not, that would not be there. Those laws will not be there. I'm just saying. That's right. I truly do agree that Israelites, Janet Levite, I do agree that is all that we give them too much credit. We came up with some of that stuff. You know, our forefathers came up, as much as we don't want to hear it and we don't want to talk about it, our forefathers came up with some of that stuff. A great deal of it came from them, the Europeans. I get that. But a lot of that stuff we came up with. And that's just straight up. No denying that. Let's go to Exodus 22. Exodus 22:12. Exodus 22:12 reads. Do I got the right thing here? I got the wrong thing here. All right. Exodus 23:9. It reads, and a stranger shalt thou not oppress, for you know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt. So how is it that a stranger comes amongst you, and then you tell them all you got to do, and I'm just talking and the things that they say, you tell them all they got to do is keep 7 laws of Noah. They don't got to keep anything else. But you get the benefit of everything else, keeping all the holy days, doing all the appointed seasons. You know, a stranger has to be treated as one that's homeborn. It says here, don't oppress them, for you know what it is to be oppressed. So these are things that we have to come into understanding of. And I want y'all to do research. I want y'all to begin to open up and start doing research on certain things, because knowledge is power. And knowledge is key when we're facing these people and we're facing them in the crap that they try to present to us. You understand what I'm saying? A great deal of these Jews All they know is what the rabbi tells them and what the Talmud said, the oral law. That's what they follow. They don't really follow Torah. They follow the oral law. You understand what I'm saying? So these are things that we have to keep in mind and we have to understand. We have to be solid in Torah. We have to understand Torah so that we won't be swayed from our understanding. But we also have to be able to study other things to know how to combat and know the things that, all right, this is made up, this is not really true, this is not really what they do. Knowledge is power. It's a key thing, and I want us to begin to be sharp, not to be speaking off of emotions, but to be speaking from knowledge, from a knowledge point of view, from a knowledgeable point of view, so that way we don't look like just people who's ranting and raving and really not having any understanding of what it is that we're speaking about. It's time for us to begin to grow when it comes to that. Leviticus 16:29. I'm just going to the different points. Leviticus 16:29. It says, and it shall be a statute forever unto you in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls, and shall do no manner of work, the homeborn or the stranger that sojourneth among you. So now it's saying that Yom Kippur has to be kept by the homeborn and the stranger. The 7 Noahic laws don't talk about keeping Yom Kippur. 7 Noahic laws is not to worship idols, not to curse God, to establish courts of justice, not to commit murder, not to commit adultery or sexual immorality, not to steal, not to eat flesh torn from a living animal. So why can't the stranger have a day to atone for his sins, just like any one of us in the children of Israel? So those are the things that we have to keep in mind. So these are the things that we have to keep in mind. These are the things that we have to keep in mind. Those Noahic laws don't, not that they don't mean anything, because truly we should keep those things. But if a stranger comes in the midst of us, or you consider someone a stranger, then that means that you have to treat them as a homeborn, and they have to keep all the laws, not just 7 laws that you say that they must keep. It clearly states right here, if he's around you, that he got to keep Yom Kippur. He got to afflict his soul also. And she has to afflict her soul. Leviticus 17:12. See, I'm bringing Torah because Torah is our foundation. And we could never go wrong with Torah. Leviticus 17:12 reads, therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood. That wasn't part of the 7 Noahic laws about eating blood. It says flesh that was torn by beasts, right? But I guess you can eat blood, but it says right here, the stranger shall not eat blood. any flesh with the blood in it, you should not eat blood. Now this any stranger. So, these are the different things that we see, and these are the different things that we get understanding of. I'm winding it down here. I'm just trying to get my point across so that you will understand, so that you will understand. 17:15 says, and every soul that eateth that which died for itself, or that which is torn of beast, whether he be homeborn or a stranger, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean unto evening. Then shall he be clean. So that's one of the 7 Noahic laws. Just being a little bit funny, but it's true. That's one of the 7 Noahic laws. Leviticus 18:26. It reads, ye therefore shall keep my statutes and my ordinances, statutes and ordinances, that's plural, and shall not do any of these abominations. Now, when you read Leviticus 18, you're going to read all the abominations. Neither the homeborn nor the stranger that sojourneth among you. That means that you should keep you shall keep my statutes and my ordinances. Whose? Mine? My statutes? Who's in that capital M is talking about the Creator. The Creator statutes and his ordinances. The homeborn and the stranger. So they have to keep all the laws, except those that are the king's laws, because they could never be a ruler over us. But they have to keep everything. If they're in the midst of us, they living in the midst of us, they love how we live and what we're doing, then they have to adhere to everything that we're doing. It's just plain and simple. Leviticus 24:22, and I'm going to end with that. 24:22 reads, ye shall have no manner of law, ye shall have one manner of law, as well for the stranger as for the homeborn, for I am Yahweh your God. One manner of law, meaning everyone is counted as the same. The stranger and the homeborn have to keep the same law. Talking about the law in its entirety. You know, so these noatic laws, and you're a stranger and you only supposed to keep this amount of laws, you're supposed to keep that amount of laws, that's something that was made up by them. So, brothers and sisters, just putting you on to the stuff that's out there and the things that people do and the things that people say, you know. So hopefully you were enlightened today. Hopefully I brought you something that you might have not understood. I'm sure many of you heard about the 7 Noatic laws. Maybe you didn't know what they were, but maybe I brought it to you today and you got some understanding. If you got some understanding from it, just let me know. Give me a thumbs up. If you learned something new, just, let me know. Acknowledge that, because I like to bring things that we might not know. A lot of times people say things and they really have no understanding of them. But I like to prime myself in getting understanding of certain things so I could bring it to our family, so that way we won't be in the dark and just be talking out of emotions and be all up in arms about certain things and just go crazy, So once again, thanking each and every one of you for joining us tonight. All right. I see Ema's on it. I see Ema's on it. Thank you, Ema. She always got my back. So we thank the Most High God for this day, for this night, for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And I hope and pray that the Most High God be with us all, answer our prayers, that he answered all of our prayers during this holy season, that that we've improved ourselves and began to drop all of the things that hold us back, and hopefully we could regain a new spirit, or gain a new spirit, not regain, but gain a new spirit, and be able to just give glory to this great King. I thank the Most High God for life, for everything that He provides, for everything that He gives. And I pray that He continue to be in each and every one of our lives. I look forward to being with my family. I look forward to being with you guys. You know, some weeks I might not make it. And the weeks that I don't make it is because I'm really extremely tired, or, you know, something, you know, it takes a toll on me sometimes. And that's the only weeks that I'm not with you. But y'all know that for most part, I'm here every week trying to bring something new and to the people. For those of you that missed, I started pretty early, 7:45. So no, did I start at 7:45? A little bit over an hour ago. Well, it says over an hour and 1 minute. So thanking y'all once again, hoping and praying that Yah will be with you, protect you and keep you, and that Yah will continue to bless each and every one of you. Once again, Lala Tov, may Yah bless each and every one of you. May the Most High God give you the desires of your mind and righteousness. And may the Most High God continue to bless and keep you in all of your endeavors. Shalom, shalom, Lala Tov, and see you in the AM. Hallelujah.